All right, kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Miss Green, I want to be a podcaster. Welcome to the Caffeinated Podcast. I'm Bubsy, and he's the Beard. This is the show where positivity is our goal, but chaos is the process.
Welcome back. If you all have been hanging around with us this long, we want to say thank you and that we appreciate you. And we are so happy that you are here with us today. Again, Bubsy and I are just overwhelmed and a little humbled at the response that we've had. I mean, when we started this, we're kind of like, well, nobody might ever listen and nobody will care what we have to say. But so far, you guys have been awesome, and we appreciate every time that you listen. And we hope that you're having fun. We hope that you're entertained. We hope that maybe you're getting out of your headspace, whatever you want to call it today. But today we have something, I don't know, Bubsy, would you say it might be a little bit different? Or would it just be something a little special?
Okay, you're asking if something is different when it's coming to our podcast, really? Okay,
Well, it kind of
people,
goes without saying. Maybe
we,
maybe I
we're a
ought to do
little
this. Let me give you
different.
the title first. How about that? Maybe I ought to just give the title and we'll go from there. Today's podcast is called It's Just a Dream. Or is it? So we're going to be talking about the things that you want to do, might want to do, the things that you wanted to do when you were a small child that changed here, there, and everywhere. Uh, Bubsy, give me a little synopsis of what you think, because I think you actually explain it better than I do.
Well, and I don't know all about that. My thoughts are not very collected. There's a reason nobody usually sees the notebook, but I have a notebook that I keep with me everywhere I go. I literally keep it in my backpack and I write notes in it all the time, especially right now since we're going almost on the fourth week of not having a phone and not being able to put things in Samsung Notes for my Samsung phone. I especially need this notebook.
They're just not telling him anything, which is what's driving him crazy.
Oh my gosh. But I will say it is a good thing to be able to collect my thoughts like that, and that is probably the best thing. I don't have it. It's over there. It's out of reach. I can't. I'm not going to go for it right now. But as far as like, is it a dream or whatever? As you all may know, and the whole reason some of this may have started as far as like us having a podcast, us being on TikTok. It started obviously with a dream. I think everyone their goals in life, like their super goals or whatever, is like their dream. Like some people dream for that just fantastic summer bod, me included. Like, dude, I'd kill for at least a 4 pack,
Right? You and me both.
Like, dude, let's go. Like some of those bodybuilders out there, those are people's dreams. Like that and that's a tangible thing. You see what I mean? Like and that's the good thing about dreams is while they may be out there, they're usually still tangible. And that means you can touch them, you can
Okay,
get there, you
I
can
got you.
believe in it. And that's what makes dreams so satisfying to achieve, I would say. But as far as a dream, this is dream jobs, dream looks, uh a dream vocabulary. Like maybe you want to know 12 languages. I struggle with English. Good luck to you.
Come on.
Uh but I think when you said a dream, like when you say dream, like and like I said, it's a goal that you think is so out there that it's difficult to achieve.
I like that. I like that. And the thing about it is though, and we're going to talk about this. Let me do this before I get into that. All right, let me give you. I've done it the last few times, and I think I like the way this works. We just kind of give you a synopsis of what we want to talk about, and then we just let the conversation flow. This way, you guys kind of know where we're going or where we're headed. So when we chase that rabbit, whichever way we chase the rabbit, you all do realize and understand that we have a destination at the end because, again, the name chaos is in the description. That's kind of how we do what we do, right? So what we're going to look at today, or what we're going to try to look at today, is why is it important to have dreams? Or, and when the dream changes, young to old, or, maybe as some people have had, they wanted to be a fireman or police officer. And then because of some doctor who helped, anything, the dream changes and you want to become something else.
Mhm.
So whatever brings on the change. And a couple of the other things we're going to talk about is what are some of the things that can slow down or stop your dreams. See, guys, we've kind of got to go there because sometimes the dream seems not just impossible to us, but it seems so impossible to others that they can't even get a glimpse of it. So they tried to turn the lights off on your dreams, intentionally or otherwise. And the last thing we're going to talk about is how can you make your dreams come true? Now, we're not experts on fulfilling your dreams. We're not experts on how to be the best businessman, businesswoman, best firefighter, police officer, anything like that. But there are things that you can do that will help you achieve your dreams that will possibly, hopefully, make it easy for you to do what you want to do. All right, so let's just do it this way, Bubsy. I'm going to throw it out. You can start if you want to, or I'll try to start whatever you want to say. But why do you think it's important to have dreams?
See, and I like the way you had phrased it that way. Is like, why is it important? But not, like I said, dreams and goals are the same thing. But it's how high, or like how, like, say, getting your dream job is like a corporate dream job is like shooting for the moon. But like your super dream job is like you want to go to the NBA. That would be the stars. Like it depends on, you're setting, I guess, a scale of how hard you would have to work for, or how motivated you would have to be, I guess. Like, it's good to have a destination. I'm trying to think of how to explain
No, I
it.
think
But
I understand what you're saying. And I'm going to change your definition just a tad. I think the dream, the ultimate dream, is the destination. And goals can be the steps that we take to fulfill the dream. Now, each goal itself may be a small dream or a small part of the dream. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not dismissing yours altogether. I'm just saying that's the way that I would look at it.
Well, and there was some one quote I think I heard is like, a dream. If you make a plan to achieve your dream, it turns into a goal. And if you take the steps laid out in the plan, it turns into a reality. I think that was a quote.
No,
I
I
may
like
be
that.
paraphrasing it really bad, but I feel like that is part of it. You know what I mean?
No, I
And
think
no
it
one's
is.
saying
But why? I mean, here's the thing. Why is it so important for us to have dreams? Because and I'm going to answer it. I'll let you off the hook a little bit because he accuses me when we get off camera, y'all, of why do you throw me the hard questions, right?
Well, it's like, I get the hard questions, and then you're like, see, I like where you were going with that, but here's what is correct. Okay, like,
Hey, I'm his dad. I have to do that, right? So, but let me say this. This is why I think it's important to have dreams. If you don't have a dream, then you're never going to move. If you don't have something to reach for, then there's no reason to reach at all. Right? Because we've got to have things that we're going to go after. I think sometimes it's inherent in human nature to try to improve or be better. Now, and that's just my thought. That's not coming from anywhere but me. But if we have goals and stuff that we strive after, I mean, it was a couple, I think, episodes back, may have been when we talked about family. I always told Bubsy that, I expect you to reach for as high as you can go. But if you don't reach as far as I think you can, look how far you can go when you reach. But it's simply put, if we don't reach, if we're not striving for something, The only other side of the coin that I see is that we're striving for nothing. Now, that doesn't mean that you may not be somewhat happy, and it may not mean that you're not having a decent life and that you're not having fun. What I mean is sometimes that journey motivates us to go one direction, but it also motivates every other part of our life. Now, I don't know if that made any sense or not, Bubsy. I'm having one of those days, if you know what I mean.
I think it made a little sense. And I don't think we talked about this when we were before the podcast, but I think we have to bring up probably one of the biggest dreams, I would think, at least in American history, is obviously, the speech, I have a dream.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. Like that is a person, Martin Luther King Jr. is a person who he took his dream and he laid out every single step he was going to take, and he went for it.
Right.
And he went for it.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. If he'd had the dream, but went, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
Or I don't think it's ever going to happen. Or if somebody else had said, Martin, brother, sir, friend, whatever you want, that's too big a thing for one person.
Well, and I mean, people did try to shut him down.
Absolutely.
Okay? People did. And that's one thing is like, you may not always have to fight for your dream. And in a lot of cases, you're only fighting yourself, but there are occasions where you will have to fight for your dream in front of other people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if it's important to you, if it's something that you can't get rid of, that's what I'm going to say. Sometimes I think we have, that's why, we're going to talk about when the dreams change, right? I wanted to be a superhero. That was my big thing. I wanted to be Batman when I was a kid. Come on, y'all.
Who didn't?
Right?
Well, except I wanted to keep my parents.
Let's be honest. It's not hyper realistic.
Yeah.
For a fat kid from Kentucky, who's not the son of a billionaire, to be Batman. But even then, the dream to be a superhero, the dream to do good, the dream to help other people, all that stuff, there's parts of that dream that is achievable. I may not get to drive around in a cool car and, say I am Batman and all that stuff, but I can still do what he did, right? There's a part of the dream that can be realistic. But people are going to look at our dreams sometimes and they're going to fight us on it because, well, I don't know. How do I say this? Sometimes they think that they're doing it for our own good. They don't want us to fail.
Nice.
They don't want us to get hurt, so they try to nip it in the bud from the very beginning. Well, if I think it's not realistic, then it can't be realistic. So I don't want them to get hurt, so I'm going to make them think it's not realistic. Right?
Right.
So,
well, but the thing is with that is like if I was scared to fail like at all, I would never do anything in life. I wouldn't leave my house, let alone like try to achieve anything.
A little secret since he said that. I'm always afraid to fail. Okay?
But
it's hard for me with some of the insecurities that I've developed. And that's the way I'm going to say it, or developed in me, however you want to say it. It's hard for me to change. It's hard for, change is difficult, right? And if you're going to chase a dream, something is going to have to change. Whether that be you or the circumstances, but something's going to have to change for you to go after your dreams.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I didn't mean to say that, being scared to fail is not normal. But to finish my statement, if I was only scared to fail, I would never leave. But the thing I'm more scared of is giving up.
I tell you what, guys, go back and listen to the first podcast. Right? If you listen really close, you'll probably hear a ticking sound. Okay? That was my knees knocking underneath the desk. All right? Even though I have talked in front of people my entire life, or at least most of my adult life anyway, it's difficult when you're putting yourself out there. Even if your goal, even if your dream, let's just use the terminology of the day. Even if my dream is to help other people, it's still hard to put yourself out there, right? We all know that little kid that lives inside our head. Well, what if nobody likes me? What if nobody wants to hang out with me? right? So there are things that we're going to have to overcome, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go along. But there's things that Bubsy and I, have had to overcome to do this, right? There's things that you've had to overcome to do the things that you've probably already done. But Bubsy knows, because I know Bubsy has plenty of dreams. And I hope and pray that every one of them comes true, right? I hope and pray that he is able to do what he wants to do exactly the way he wants to do it. But we don't always get that kind of support, do we? I mean, we're just being honest, right? So, and that leads us kind of into this, don't you think, Bubs?
I think so.
When the dream changes, what causes a dream to change? Or what do you think causes a dream to change?
Well, and speaking of like people who are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just had a pain in my back. Sorry, guys.
Gotcha.
If you see any weird expressions, it's just because my back's hurting today.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, my dreams have changed quite a lot, I would say, as I grew up, because I always did. I think everyone always started out with like the main three. You know, when you're a kid, okay, if you are a guy, it probably was one of these: police officer, firefighter, or astronaut for the guys. For for girls, I'd say it was like vet tech, nurse, teacher.
Now that's a generality, right?
Like generality, that's probably what you heard when you're in like,
well, especially
first
my
grade.
age. Now I think that may have changed a lot in recent years, but when you were my age, yeah.
What true. You know, we didn't have it's that YouTube channel that does like toy reviews. Like I didn't have that growing up. There's some kid who does toys reviews. It's dope. Dude, I didn't have that. All I had was, ooh, I went to Walmart and I saw that Transformer. I want it. He's like, bro, it has a laser gun. You know? But it wasn't until, you know, like I was, you know, elementary school, heading into sixth grade, where like YouTube started to be a big thing, things like that. But see, I went from, what was it, a police officer, because at the time you were still working at the jail. Yeah, you were still doing law enforcement. So I was like, oh, I want to be like my dad. Yeah, I want to be like my dad. And then you got me addicted to the lovely art of reading books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so then I was like, ooh,
you're welcome.
I want to be a writer. And it's those sources, the things that you get interested in and the things you start to fall in love with, that change what you want to be.
True.
I think
true.
I and that's why listening to the people around you can be very difficult when it comes to your dreams. Because like we were talking about, if someone just thinks it's way too unrealistic and you start to listen to them, you can see in your head you being that and you achieving that. But if someone else can't see it, you can't always let them decide that for you. So I would say
I like
that.
I like that.
Yeah. So what about you?
Perfect sense. And
what about you?
It's our personalities that change as we grow. It's the things that become more important to us as we grow. It's the things that grab our interest. I couldn't find the right word there for a second, but it's the things that grab our interest. You know, because I mean, I think writing a book would be a really cool thing to do. You know, because and simply because of the amount of people that hopefully will read it, at least the 10 or 12 outside of your immediate family, you know, because let's be honest, most families going to buy your book just to say that they bought the book. But
they might not ever read it, but they'll buy it.
Yeah, they may not
ever
read it. You're absolutely right. But they'll say, "Wait, man, I got your book, man. Yeah, good stuff."
They'll put a bookmark 3/4 of the way through. It's like, look, I'm almost finished with it.
But at the same time, you know, I never understood certain personality traits that I had, if that makes any sense. Because
You're gonna have to elaborate.
well, when I got into law enforcement, the first thing that everybody asks, well, so your dad was in law enforcement, or or corrections, or police? No. Oh, that must be your grandfather. No. As far as I know, nobody in my family, as far back as I know, had anything to do with law enforcement. But I always felt that tug. I mean, I always had the interest in it. I always had the desire to do it, right? But honestly, I didn't know where it came from until, honestly, years later, after I was unable to do it anymore. And I realized that the reason that I wanted to be in law enforcement was that overwhelming desire to help people, to be able to do something when possibly nobody else could, to be there when possibly nobody else could. And I know it's not part of it, but that's part of the reason I really have a big time problem with people disrespecting our first responders in this place that we live nowadays, because they do jobs that most people won't do. And if you ask most of them, and I'm not going to say it's all of them, but the ones that I know, if you ask them, well, why did you get into this profession? Oh, I've always wanted to be a firefighter, or I've always wanted to be a police officer, or I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to help people that way. So, there are certain commonality in dreams, and some will change. I mean, I got sidetracked for years by my own, how do I want to phrase this, Bubsy? Well, let's just be honest, right? I got sidetracked by my own stupidity.
Ooh.
Okay. We're talking about why dreams change, right? I'm just talking about me. I ain't talking about nobody else. And if I offend anybody else, I'm sorry. But I'm the idiot that cost me my dreams when I was younger. I'm the one that stepped all over myself. Nobody else did it to me. I did it to myself. Wrong choices, wrong decisions, wrong outcomes, right? But something happened later on, and I was able to bring certain parts of it back around, because my grandmother always supported me, right? She didn't care what it was. She just wanted me to be a success at whatever I did. I mean, I know that's not a thing anymore, but if I was a street sweeper, the guy that used to go around sweeping up with the broom, right? They used to be big back in the day. It was a good job. She wouldn't have cared. As long as I was the best street sweeper there was, she wouldn't have cared. But again, stupid me made stupid decisions, but a part of the dream stayed alive. See, the dream may change, but the motivation behind the dream, I think, lingers. What do you think, Bubs? Do you think I'm wrong about that?
No, I think you're spot on.
Do you think it may be that's what pushes you into different things? It may not be manifesting the way you can see it, but I think the motivation behind the dream pushes us into a lot of decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I can see that.
Okay. Well, I mean, so your dream may change, but if you look back, if you were to take a moment today and just think about what you're doing and go, what's that big question? Why am I here? Right? How did I get here? What pushed you to do?
Okay. Bruh. Hang on. The stars have aligned in my head. Because obviously I went, there was obviously the first grade, like, oh, I want to be a police officer, that type of thing. But now that you mentioned it, like, the dream lingers. Like, my first dream was, be a writer, because I started reading, and obviously you've got that, what is it, Rick Riordan or whatever, with the Percy Jackson series. Like,
oh yeah,
all the fantasy was such a good series.
Yes, it was.
Very good. And then obviously what the dream is now, I always wanted to create something.
Come on.
Be.
Well, and see, that's the thing. And I'm going to say it like this. It's not that he doesn't do his own stuff, y'all. Look him up. Check out his social stuff, his social media stuff, when we put it at the end. follow him. He does his own stuff. The podcast really is the only thing that it's not the only thing we do together, but social media wise, it's the only thing we do together. And there may be more collaboration later on. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I wanted to say this. You know, he said he always had the dream to create. Even though he didn't realize what he was doing. He took computers in school. He knows how to write code. He's not the big fan of writing code, but he can create code. So he can create something within the computer, right? And I don't know if you got if he understands it or not, but you know, I'm called the caffeinated beard these days. I'm not the one that created that. He is. He's the one that pushed it. But at the same time, if I had been too afraid, or if I had decided not to do it, he would have eventually given up. But he pushed me into an area and pushed me to do something that is once again brought up that dream, that desire to help people. So it's like, you know, the motivation never went away.
And here's the thing. I didn't say, oh, do TikTok. You can help people. I told him to get on TikTok because I think he's funny. You know, like, I wasn't like, dude, go tell some jokes. Just throw them on the internet. I'm sure you'll get caught or whatever. People will love it. Now he's like, we doing an auction. Yeah, we gonna help some families, man. Which
the auction did really well, by the way, guys.
Yeah, we're recording on Saturday. There is still one tonight, so I'm waiting to hear what happens with that one.
The other one is the first one has already been majorly successful, in my opinion, and we're waiting to see what the one about tonight's going to do.
Yeah,
but you see what I'm saying, Bubs, right?
Yes, I do.
You had a different idea. You were trying to create something. I think you said in one of the podcasts you wanted to create a place where I could put myself out there. Mm-hmm. Now, you had one idea, but that motivation that fueled my dream when I was younger was still there, even though it might have been buried until, and then all of a sudden it starts coming out in a venue like TikTok. It starts coming out in a venue like podcast, right?
Bro, okay. I don't think, and I don't know if when people are listening to this, you guys probably don't understand that this podcast is probably more for us than it is for you in a lot of cases.
Oh, come on, man. It's therapy.
But okay, no. Listen to this. When I mentioned, let's talk about our dreams on podcast, we both looked at each other like, how the heck are we going to talk about this?
I couldn't. It took me a couple days, maybe 3 days to wrap my head around it.
How did this happen? Like, this isn't in our notes. Like, this whole connection period from like young to old, it's not there. All we have, I'll let you through here. Point 2, when the dream changes young to old or whatever, there's no.
That's the entire note.
We did not create like, we're going to make a correlation thing. We're going to connect people's like and pull on their heartstrings from when they're young to now when they're trying to achieve what they are. Nothing. But like, this has been created. like, bro, the dude's helped me and I'm in the same call with him, man.
No, I mean, and see, and that's the whole point. I mean, like, you know, one of the other points is, you know, what are some of the things that can slow you down or stop your dreams? I'll give you the simplest one, the easiest one, which is probably going to be the backstop, if you will, or the foundation of most every other thing that'll slow down or stop your dreams. It's a simple 4-letter word. Fear.
Ooh, and if we got something for fear for you.
Right? Fear. We're afraid people won't like us. We're afraid people won't want this. We're afraid people won't listen or won't watch our videos or won't read our book, or we're afraid to fill out the application because we won't get our dream job.
Right.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a good possibility that they may not accept your application, but there's 100% chance of failure if you do not try.
Right. And this is going to blow your mind. For once, we're ahead. We know what we're talking about next week. And guess what? It's fear.
Should we go ahead and give
Oh.
them the title just to tease them a little bit?
Yes, please. I love this title, and
Okay.
I still have to practice saying it. So,
We were thinking about it earlier today, guys. And next week's podcast will be called Feargonomics, the cost of being afraid. You're thinking, the
but
cost of being
but
afraid, what's it going to cost me? Well, we're talking about that right now, right? It
Mhm.
can cost you your dreams. It can cost you a lot of things. And of course, next week we're going to talk about some phobias and all this different stuff, and rational
we're gonna
phobias,
make it
irrational
fun.
phobias, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
we're gonna add a little bit of spice.
With a little bit of spice.
Why is it
Spicy.
spicy?
Yeah, I know. We think our brains work way too much alike.
Oh, we've
Okay.
been on TikTok far
But
too
see,
much.
here's the thing. If you're afraid, that's normal.
Oh, yes.
If you're
Yes.
scared to step out, for most people, that's normal.
Fear is 100% normal.
Yeah. But the only thing I can tell you as we continue to go on with this discussion is this. And it's just what I said before. The only way that you're guaranteed to fail 100% is if you don't try, if you don't do anything. As long as you're trying, I don't care if you meet your first goal as fast as you hope. As long as you are trying, you are a success.
Yeah.
Simple, right, Bubs?
True.
So,
Well, and I
Go
mean,
ahead.
setting small goals and setting big goals, like, everyone has like their final dream. Like my dream, we were talking about. I wanted to create stuff. I would love to be able to quit my current 9 to 5, while I do enjoy the people I work with. It is stressful from time to time. It is probably one of the best jobs at my age I could accomplish. My parents think, and here's the thing: my parents, and the way it was detailed out to me is, I have some people's dream job, specifically at my age. Okay,
yeah, I would say that.
but the problem, and we had this whole discussion a couple weeks ago, and that's kind of where, me starting to post more on TikTok and YouTube videos and things like that, where that came to, like, I'm sitting down, I'm doing it, it's happening, where I'm going for it. Is I may have some people's dream job now, but I'm not doing my dream. I'm not fulfilling my dream.
Okay. Now, answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, did we say not to pursue your dream?
Not at all. See, and that's the thing. But that's why, if you check out my socials, you'll notice that there has been a TikTok daily since what, the 14th or 15th of July,
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
something like that. Okay, I'm taking my lunch break. Okay, and this is how hard. Like, we had this whole conversation. I think it was the 13th of July, and I sat down and I literally wrote in my notebook, the one I have sitting over there. I wrote down Project Dream. Okay. That is literally the title that I wrote down on the very first page of this new notebook. Project Dream. I wrote down everything that would be considered a cost, whether that was financial or like time. Because honestly, your dream will take time.
Anything
Okay.
that you go after is
Anything
going to
you
take
go
time.
after. Correct. And I wrote that all down. And I was like, I'm currently at this job. I'm working, 40 hours a week. But by the time I get home, I don't think I can do anything to work. Okay. And to achieve my dream. And I was trying to convince my parents that the best bet, this really good job, was to step down, get a lesser job, and try to chase my dream
Yeah.
at a
Now,
more
hang on one
intense
second.
pace.
For those of you that are hearing this and are going to watch this when it drops, how do you think that went?
Oh, it went terribly. It went terribly.
Well, no, actually, it didn't. I mean, let's be honest. We didn't agree
I'm,
with the
I'm still
idea.
I'm still at the job, by the way.
No, we didn't agree with the idea. And let me explain to you why. And then if he wants to finish, I'll let him finish this part of it.
Yeah.
But your dreams, like he said, is going to come at a cost. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you other things. You know, time is one of the big things that it does because you have to give up time with your family. You have to give up time with your friends because you're pursuing something that is going to be major, or at least a major part of your life for a while. Okay. Now, what I told him, and I'm telling everybody that's listening to this who may be like, well, okay, I like that idea. I don't like my 9 to 5 that much. I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to chase my dream. Awesome. Chase your dreams. But this is what I tell Bubsy every time. Chase your dreams, but have a backup plan. All right.
Right.
I didn't tell him I didn't tell him that he couldn't quit his job. He's a grown man, in my opinion. He's smart. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He does tend to overthink things sometimes, which is not always a bad thing because it stops him from making impulse decisions like quitting his job.
That'll be part of the fear podcast.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it does keep him from making impulse decisions like quitting his job. But the reason that I say this is this. The state that we live in, one of the biggest things in our state is basketball.
Basketball.
Right? Yeah, they love basketball. And
not football.
They
not
come
football.
in,
No.
these young kids, they get into college, they play basketball for a year, and then the NBA says, hey, come with me, we'll give you millions of dollars. And they do. And some of them succeed. A lot of them succeed, to be quite honest. But there's always the guy. There's always the one that he's doing all this to try to get out of whatever. His dream has always been to play professional basketball. He's going to take care of his family. He's going to take care of all of his friends. And then his first game, he blows his knee out and he has nothing else to fall back on. Okay? So when you pursue your dreams, go after it with everything you've got. Give it everything you can. But if you've got something that's going to be able to facilitate it, there you go, or hold you up, if you were, while you pursue your dreams, so you don't have to worry about certain aspects of it, then don't just let that go. You're going to have to take the time and stuff from somewhere else. You're going to have to do that. But because any dream, you know, and I'll just tell you, I mean, one of the dreams that I've always had is starting a restaurant. You know, I love food. If y'all can look at my fat face and not know that I love food, then there's something wrong. Okay. And, you know, I make a joke about it all the time. I keep saying that I'm going to start a restaurant and call it the I don't know, you know, or the I don't care. And then either one, they're interchangeable, and then put a special mystery thing on the menu every week called the I don't know or the I don't care. So y'all know where that argument's coming from, right? But I also know from doing my research that the average restaurant fails within the first 2 years of being open. So I would, to really do it and pursue it, even though I'd love to, I'd have to have a backup plan. I'd have to have something that would get us at least through the first 2 years, if not first the 3 or 4. And see, that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about the fear, right, Bubs? The things that slow us down, the fears of the what ifs,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yeah.
Go ahead, man. I didn't mean to talk so long. I apologize.
Well, and I don't think you talked very long at all. But and the thing was, it wasn't specifically like leaving the place I was at, although that was also on the table when we were discussing it. But it was possibly just taking a part-time job instead, because the problem that I was facing was, while I knew what my dream was and I knew what I wanted to chase, I felt that I didn't have enough time, because time is very valuable.
Oh yes.
And I don't, and I may be, and some people may think that I'm speaking too heavily on something that I'm too young to know about, and that's fine. That is completely fine. But hear me out. Time is a very valuable resource. Everyone has a limited amount of time, but the problem is you don't know how much time you have. Okay? Because people can resource properly for things they know the quantity of. Okay? You cannot resource and manage something you don't know when it's going to run out. Okay? And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to ever have the chance to grab my dream unless I jump right now. That was the discussion. That was why it was completely brought up. Now, to my father's point, I like to overthink things. I know people who have left jobs just because they're unhappy. Like like I said, I would rather pursue my dream than be in a 9 to 5 working for someone else when I could work for myself, making myself happy, spending my time how I see fit. That makes sense. Okay. And that's why I was like, I want to make the most of the resource I have now as far as time. But the thing is, he's correct. While I'm young at the moment, and this would technically be a risk, and I have time to, make up for it later, we don't know what quantity of time I have. How do I know I can make up for it later? It's the same argument. Like, the thing is, like,
it's the same argument that you would use to not pursue your dream.
correct. My argument for pursuing my dream is the same argument to not pursue my dream.
Isn't
It's
it weird
great.
how that works out?
Bro, he's smart. He's smarter than he knows. Okay. He's killing me. Okay. So we made a deal, and he was like, I want you to try as hard as you can for a certain amount of time, whatever.
Now, I did not
And
specify the time. He did this on his own. I said
so,
you have to try to find a way to do it.
so the goal or the dream or whatever, because I keep mentioning the dream, but I would love to quit my 9 to 5, become a content creator, be able to create YouTube videos, TikToks, do streams. Like, the amount of times I've seen streamers do like charity projects to help people because they have this major following. Like, dude, I know what charity I want to use at this point. Like, I've had plans for years. And the reason for this is I grew up when YouTube started to become a big thing. I saw how these people were enjoying their time. And while that may be a snippet or whatever, I could see the freedom to allow their imagination kind of to run free. That's the same thing with writers. While they're stuck to hard commitments and things like that to get a book done, their imagination and their creativity just get to overflow from them in a lot of cases. Now, obviously, there's things like writing block, and with artists, like, you run into issues with, like, there's always these issues, the technical things. And that was what we were running into here, is I just didn't have enough time. So to pursue my dream, and this is probably, I think we're slowly moving on to our next, and I think final point right about on schedule, which is really funny because I haven't looked at the
We
time a
don't
whole
really
lot.
time this, guys. We just talk till we get tired.
We're on schedule for the hour of power. But for the fourth point, it's how can you make your dreams come true? So I sat down in my little notebook and I flipped to the next page from Project Dream, and I put down from dream to reality was the next heading. And I wrote down every one of my goals that I wanted. I wrote down where I was on social media on certain accounts. Like TikTok, I was like, I wrote down how many followers I was at and how many, like, was my short-term goal and long-term goal. Wrote those down. YouTube, wrote down where I was at, wrote out where I wanted to be. Twitch, wrote down how many followers I had, wrote down how many I wanted. But I gave myself to the end of the year. I was like, let's see where the heck you are at here, and then let's double down. Okay. So, and that's one thing. I'm not saying I'm going to the end of the year and I'm going to quit my job. That is probably not in the cards, not in the plan. If
But
I get to the point where that is possible, whoa, let's do it.
well,
Okay,
and let's
double down.
All right, let's do this. Since he did that,
But yeah,
go ahead.
no, go.
No, what I was going to say is, I want him to pursue his dreams. That's what I've always told him. Go after whatever you go after. Do it with everything you've got.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, to do it smartly. Okay? Because, again, I go back to the basketball player who wants to do, it's got all the dreams and all the big ideas and all this stuff and, all the sponsors and all this thing. He's going to be able to do all this stuff for his family, and then he blows his knee out. Mm-hmm. See, I grew up in the era where even though some of these young men went to the NBA and they made millions of dollars, they also did their 4 years in college before they did that. They got their degree. They did it smart. They had something to fall back on in case, or if when, the dream was no longer available to them.
Well, and like going off that point, Shaquille O'Neal
Does
did an
everything.
interview. Oh my gosh, he does everything about his size. Okay, he does everything like Texas
He
does
doesn't have a
donuts.
plan B. He has a plan A through Z.
Well, but the thing is also, have you ever heard the interview where he talks about his first paycheck?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So Shaq's first paycheck, he said he went out, bought chains for his friends, bought a house, bought cars for all his family. And then the next day, the bank called because they handed him a check without paying the taxes out of it 1st,
Mm-hmm.
without paying the bank fees for this new account. I mean, everything. So he went from like, I don't remember how much the original check was, but I think he said he was like 40 grand in the hole the next
Yeah.
day.
All in one day.
All in one day. Like I'm
See,
talking first
now,
check to
if
next
you know
day.
anything about Shaq, he always has a plan, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now, and I think that moment was when he started making plans. So, you know, and that's the thing, because it's the fear of the what ifs and all that stuff. I mean, I don't want anybody to not go after their dreams. You know, I don't want you all to stop going after what you love. I don't want you to ever stop going after what makes your heart pitter patter, if you will, that makes you breathe funny because you get so excited. You're so passionate over it. All right.
Yeah.
But
Which is what I felt like.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Which is what, like, and I mentioned it. That was the same feeling I had when we sat down for this discussion that day. I was like, my heart just exploded. Like I was like, this is the moment.
And see, here's the thing. This goes right into the last thing. You know, what can you do to make your dreams come true? The part of the argument that got me is he says, I don't have enough time. Right? And he's got the same 24 hours the rest of us do.
Right.
And that's you and everybody else who's pursuing a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might be in a situation where you feel like you're pursuing somebody else's dream, but yours is still out there. You can grab it. You can go get it. Well, I don't have time after I do all this, you know, and I'm not putting him on the spot because I'm not going to have him tell anything. But the funny thing is, he decided to go after his dream and he decided to make better use of his time, and he's doing it, and he's doing it well, and he's going to make it happen.
Well, right? And like I had to sit down, and it wasn't when I wrote down like dream into reality. I put down, like I said, where I was at, what I wanted to hit, but I also put down goals where I was like, I want a TikTok a day, I want a YouTube video a week, and I want to stream for about 10 hours on Twitch a week.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, this is due. Like I have to be hitting these numbers by the end of the year.
Now,
okay?
I know what you're thinking, guys. That don't sound like any fun. That sounds like a job.
It is a job.
Right.
But and the thing is like, video games have always been fun. That's where most of my content is coming from. Is I like to mess around and enjoy video games and play games with friends. That is kind of how I make, you know, my stuff. And I want it to be more not about the game specifically, while the game does play some role in it. I want to have fun. Like that's how I make it fun, is getting to interact with these people. And that's why, like with last episode with trolling or things like that, it's fun. Like trolling videos are funny.
Well,
like, plug.
But let's do it like
I
this
put out
too.
a video. I put out a video today.
He's pursuing his dream, right?
Yeah.
And part of the fun is sharing that dream with each and every one of you.
Right.
The podcast turned into part of the dream that I didn't ever see coming. I'll be honest with you. I never saw this. I think he did, but I never saw this.
Well, I will say I did have a teacher named Miss Green, although she was never one of my teachers. She was like, because my school had like two of the same grade teacher. I was with one person, they were with the other. Her name was Miss Green. She was a very nice lady. She made good cupcakes. But I never wanted to be a podcaster. Okay, never wanted to be a podcaster. But the intro, she made good cupcakes. I never wanted to be a podcaster. I didn't, honestly. I never wanted. I was never one who liked to public speak. I had to work on that. That was he can attest. I used to have really severe anxiety about talking to people.
Well, but see, here's this is what I'm getting at. We're talking about now at this part. We're talking about how you make your dreams come true. See, Miss
Yeah.
Green probably put that little bug in his ear years ago. You ought to try this. And he never really thought of how it would play into his dream. He never really thought about how it would be to fruition because, well, I can't do this because I can't talk in public, or it makes me nervous, or I have anxiety, whatever the case may be. We all do that. Come on. If anybody who listens to this has never had that argument with yourself in your head, please tell me how you did it without not having to have that argument, because I do that with everything that I do. But one of the first things he did, you notice he keeps talking about his little notebook. That may be a good idea for any of you. But the first thing he did was when he said, well, this is what I really want to do. And he decided that he is going to do it. I pulled up this little list, Bubsy.
Yeah.
On Steam it says. And it says 10 steps to fulfilling your dreams. It says first, find what you really want. But not only that, explore your wishes. Do you know why you want it? See, we're talking about motivation again. There's a lot of reasons that people go after certain things. Some of it's money. I mean, there are people, how do I want to put this? There are people in the medical profession that should not be in the medical profession because they are only there to get a check. Their dream was never to help other people in need. Their dream was to say, I'm a this or that and receive a paycheck. Sorry. Now, and if I offended anybody listening, I apologize. I'm not saying that's you because I don't know you. But what I'm saying is there are people out there that do that. Don't just go after something to do something. Decide what it is. Decide how you want to do it. Decide what makes your little heart go pitter patter, just like I said a minute ago.
Well, and to say this, if you're chasing that bag, chase the bag. Okay.
Yeah, if you need them, if you want the money, go after the money. There's nothing wrong with it.
And I will. And here's one thing we haven't really, I don't think, touched on. Is like maybe it's not their dream, but maybe it's someone's dream for them.
That's true. It could very be that they were talked into something, but that's why it has to be something that you decide for yourself.
Right.
But once you decide what it is, all right. Once you decide what it is, guess what the next decision is, Bubsy?
Write it down.
Well, I wouldn't not go against that. But once you decide what it is, then you have to decide if you're going to go for it or not. You can't just go, well, this is my dream, and never think about it, talk about it, do anything about it again. Because if you're not going after it, then it's just there, right?
Yeah.
And, Bubsy came to us, and he came to me and my wife, and we were talking about it. And that's one of the other things on this list. I love this list, guys. I really do. But it says, talk about your dream. Get in touch with people who think alike. Look for information and resources.
I mean, it's true. And I want people to realize why I went to him. And here is my reasoning why. I was let's use the word impassioned. Like I said, I felt my heart. I was like, I need to go for this. I need to try for this. This is what I want to do. I knew in my head that I was missing important details because I was skipping over them because of how I felt. Okay. You can't make decisions like that based solely on feeling. While feeling is important, it can't be the only resource you look at.
That's one of the reasons they always say, Bubsy, don't make any decisions when you're upset, because you're going to make a decision out of emotion that may be the terriblest thing in the world.
But that was the reason I went to them, is because I knew I may not have been thinking and feeling in a perfect and level head. I know myself well enough to know I wasn't thinking of the whole picture. I was only focusing on one part of the picture. And that's also is like, you have to surround yourself with people who like that thing says, is that are like-minded, because they can see that the goal and everything is achievable, but they also are looking at what's best for you.
Guys, if you have a goal that you're going after, if you have a dream that you want, say for example, you want to own your own cattle farm. or you want to own your own restaurant, like I do,
Mhm.
what would be the best thing for me to do? Find somebody who's willing to sit down and talk to me, who's ran a successful restaurant, who has a successful restaurant, and find every possible thing that I can get from him about how to run a successful restaurant. You know, again, it's not taking away from your dream if you bring somebody else in on it. It's adding to
Mhm.
that dream because they may have information that you don't. They may see it in a way that you don't. Doesn't mean if they don't agree with you immediately that, oh well, that dream's just stupid, I need to quit.
They're just the haters. Gotta block them out. You
Exactly,
know,
right?
no,
Don't buy
no.
into that because you are going to find a lot of help. Now, Bubsy, of course, number 4 on this list was write you down your wishes, set a goal, and make a plan.
Yeah.
Number 5 is one I think that everybody who's going to have an issue with occasionally. It says closely examine your internal programs. The positive ideas, the positive feelings you have about something are often going to be conflicted with the negative side. So you're going to be fighting yourself as you pursue your dream. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. Or I can't do it. I don't have enough money to buy the equipment. You know, whatever the case may be, that negative side is going to be just as powerful sometimes, if not more so than the positive. That's another reason to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and give you an attaboy every once in a while when you can't do it to yourself.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, if you think about it, like, I wanted to. We all know I've been wanting to stream, make YouTube videos for years, like all through high school, whatever. I was either too scared, didn't have the what I thought was the right equipment or anything. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Okay, that may have all been true, but I never tried.
Not one video.
Not a single video. Do you know how many 12-year-olds are making YouTube videos about their friends hanging out at a skate park?
No.
Okay, I didn't do a single thing.
He didn't do a single thing. And I got a message from my sister the other day that his 6-year-old cousin, 6 years old. Now, I have to preface this to say that he did get in trouble for it.
Yes.
But he's 6 years old.
You should have limited internet access.
Started his own YouTube channel at 6 years old. Right?
I'm just saying you should probably have limited internet access till probably 13.
Of course, not saying that he still has the channel. But even the 6-year-old who sees the YouTube goes, oh, I can probably do that, and set up his own YouTube channel. Scares the living daylights out of me just a little bit. But you're gonna have to try.
I didn't even try.
And Bubsy was right when he was talking about in the beginning. You have to set goals, and once you set the goals, you're not going to go in and make. Is it possible to do something on the internet like Bubsy's talking about and be instantly famous? Of course it is. But most things that we're going to try to do are going to have small steps, small goals to reach the big end goal, right? So complete the small steps when you write it down or however you do it, and celebrate each time you have a victory, because that's going to motivate you on to the next step. What do you think, Bubs? Am I wrong about that?
I think you're right. And like we were talking about like small ones. As far as like small things like TikTok, like obviously it's not huge productions, lighting, like
or if
lights
it was,
or
I
whatever.
couldn't do it. I'm just saying.
But and this is one thing that we had discussed is I have to take an hour lunch because for overtime and things like that to avoid it. I edit at least a TikTok a day on my lunch break. That's how I'm getting the one TikTok
in case somebody
a day.
misunderstood that. Okay,
yeah.
Just in case somebody misunderstood.
This is the young man that said
he did not have enough time, but suddenly he found time.
And of course, that's obviously right.
I'm just saying.
You have to, and the thing is, and this could be, I'm not currently in a relationship, but this could also be relationship advice. You have to pursue it, whether that's relationships with friends, relationships with somebody that you wish to date, marry. If it's your dream, you have to go after it. Okay. You can't be in a good dating relationship when you're just like, yeah,
See, that's the thing,
we don't
guys.
do
You know,
anything together.
we're talking about how you make your dreams come true. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. When I got on TikTok, it wasn't a dream. Okay, it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what happened.
Yeah.
But again, once it tweaked that thing that had been buried in the dark, then I started to work it even more. And when I say work it, am I still having fun with it? Yeah, because if I wasn't having fun, I really wouldn't be doing it.
And that's what he told me from the beginning. He's like, fine, I will try what you are recommending. But if I don't like it, you can't tell me to keep doing it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and it's all a part about trying to be consistent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have to continue on the path to fulfill your dream. You have to be consistent. You're going to have days when you don't feel good. You're going to have days when you just don't want to. I mean, come on. Anybody, unless if you can't raise your hand, if you don't want to adult some days. Hello. Thank you very much.
Last night. So, shameless plug, because this is my podcast. I can kind of do what I want. I posted a video today. Funny enough, I was ahead on my goal of posting a video a week. I had it done Wednesday. Okay, today is Saturday. Saturday's the due date. Wednesday, I was done with it. I uploaded it to YouTube, scheduled it to release today. I had footage corrupt on me, which basically means it is completely unusable, and I can't recover it to a factor which I can use it again. So last night I had to refilm part of the video that was due today as part of my goal. Okay, I had to refilm it. I wasn't feeling good. I had gotten off work. It just wasn't feeling it. But I made a commitment to myself. That was one thing I had talked about is I felt like for the first time in a long time I was putting myself in a place where I was actually holding myself to an important piece of myself. Like, and in a lot of situations, I like putting other people's first. I like being concerned about more other people than myself. But it felt like for the first time, I was treating myself as someone also important. And for someone who has had issues with depression in the past, putting myself and the slapping an important label on it felt great.
Absolutely.
Not gonna lie. But last night, I didn't want to film. I really didn't, because I had already filmed it. I felt like the part that was corrupt, I had already gotten the best of the best, and I wasn't going to be able to recreate it. I think I did an okay job on the part I had to recreate. I'll have to see. But I was so just out of it last night. Didn't want to do it, but I still did it because I made that commitment to myself.
Because he made a commitment, and he's made a commitment to being consistent. Why is consistency important? Because that is the small goals it's talking about. That gives you a little bit of celebration each time you complete something. Like, yay, I did it, and it gives that motivation to do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's be honest. Since we're talking about being consistent, I'm going to tell you one of the best things I ever heard, and it's probably some of the truest words I've ever heard. We'll sit and tell ourselves that we can't, we won't, we don't want to, about pretty much everything.
Yeah.
We will come up with excuse after excuse after excuse. We'll call it reasons, but it's an excuse, let's be honest, right? Not to do something. But I want you to, and again, I'm not trying to step on anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, but listen to what I'm about to tell you, because this changed the way I do things a lot. Do I still make excuses? Well, duh, I'm human. But listen to this. You can find a man broken without money, but you can't find one without an excuse. If there's a reason not to do something, human beings will come up with a reason not to do something. Some of them are going to be legitimate. Let's be honest. Life interferes in everything that we're trying to do. Right? But some of them are just because I don't want to be human today. I don't want to be an adult. I just want to sit around and eat Oreos and drink milk.
Hey, Oreos
right?
slap. It's
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? But that consistency allows you to have those small celebrations, and which again motivates you to go on. And one
Yeah.
of the next things you got to do is don't be discouraged by the people who say it's not possible. Not everybody is going to understand your dream. Not everybody is going to get it or see it the way that you do. And I can guarantee you that nobody is going to feel it the way that you do.
Yeah.
Right? But go after it with everything you have. You know,
Right.
because that's the thing, guys. If one little thing that we've said here today feeds your soul, feeds your heart, feeds your dream, makes you go, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And yes, I know I just quoted the little engine that could, but it still applies every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's going to be the naysayers. There's going to be the haters. There's going to be the people, again, I'm going to say it again, who think they're actually helping you by
Yeah.
telling you not to pursue your dreams. Okay? But if you're going to do it, then you're going to have to do it. That's the big thing. Be consistent. Go after it with everything you got. And then, Bubby, this is one I told you, and I think everybody needs to know. You got to have fun with your dream.
Yeah.
You've got to have fun. Don't just think about the dream as something that's going to be. Get it in your mind, get it in your heart that it's already done, that it's
Yeah.
already achieved, that you're already there.
Yeah. When you start chasing your dream or whatever, I think the right way to say that is you are living your dream right now. Okay.
Come on.
You're
That's
living it.
good.
Okay. You're living it out. Part of your dream, okay, is the achievement of the dream. It's not just, I have a dream, I get to the dream, now I'm fulfilled. Your dream is also the achievement of the dream. So you are living it out as you get to where you're like, oh, yes, this is where I wanted to
Yep.
be.
Come on.
And then when you go beyond that together, you have the ultimate fulfillment because you were there every step of the way. If someone just handed me like a YouTube channel with like 1 million subscribers,
Now, we wouldn't turn it down now if anybody wants to do that. I'm just saying. But,
but here's the thing. But here's the thing. I wouldn't have grown that. They wouldn't know me.
right.
And the thing is, I would fail at it because I didn't work for it. I don't know how to handle something that I haven't prepared myself for.
Well, let's put it in the
Because that's part
context.
of the dream is you have to get prepared for where you want to
Let's
be.
put it in this context, Bubsy.
Hmm.
If we were to build a house, what's the first thing we need? A foundation.
Foundation. Yep.
Yeah. You know, and if your foundation is
Is
strong, then the house is going to be strong. So if you're pursuing your dream, but you want to jump from step to step to step and just be big, guess what, guys? If we get big without all the other steps, will we know how to handle being big? You see what I'm
Right.
saying? If you get
Right.
your dream, because remember what Bubsy said, right? Shaq had that check, man. He was taking care of everybody because he done got his dream. He had the money in hand, and then all of a sudden he didn't have the money in hand
Yeah.
because he got his dream, but not because he doesn't deserve it. I think Shaq's a cool dude. You know,
Yeah.
if he ever hears this podcast and comments or comes out, dude, I mean, you're gonna see this old fat guy faint, right? Okay,
I'd be like,
but what I'm saying is he didn't know how to handle the dream once he got it at that point. Now, I
Yeah.
think since then he's learned the dream. He's done the steps. That's why he's absolutely into everything and he knows how to make his dreams come true. And because of that, he is allowed to help other people's dreams come true. He's helped so many people get started with
Yeah.
their dreams. It's ridiculous. Okay? So and he's having fun. That's the one thing I do not doubt, that Shaq has fun. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the last thing we're going to talk about before we close, guys, is this. You're going to have to overcome obstacles. there are things that are going to get in your way. First off, time. Sometimes friends.
Sometimes yourself.
Sometimes family. And I do think that one of the bigger obstacles, more times than not, is us.
Yeah.
Right? But if you can just hang in there, if you can see a way around it, you're going to have bad days, everybody. I mean, we all do. Just like he said, his file corrupted, and all I heard is, I don't want to have to do it again. Well, but if you're going to put the video up, then you're going to have to do it again. I mean, there's no other way around it. He had to.
And I met my deadline, okay? I did do it.
The thing is, the obstacle may be trying to slow you down, but it does not have to stop you. Just like when there's a lot of road work or an accident on the highway, it may slow the traffic down. It may even stop you for a period of time. But either something happens and another way opens, or there's a detour created to get you around the obstacle that's in the way. You can find a way. Go ahead, Bob.
Just like reaching your short-term goals, getting past obstacles is another part of success. I mean, you can't have success without its other half, failure. And that's what a lot of people say is like, if you get knocked down, you got to get back up. You have to, not stop. That and like I said earlier, it's like I'm scared of failing, yes, but I'm more scared of what would happen now that if I stop, if I give up.
That's exactly right.
I heard a quote, and I have it written down in, guess what? Another notebook. But I'm not going to grab it. But it was an interview with Michael Jordan. And he goes, which if you don't know who Michael Jordan is, he is considered probably the best basketball player of all time.
I think so.
But he goes over, he says, I have over a certain, amount of 3-pointers. I've been charged with hitting the winning shot this many times. But he says, I have missed this opportunity this many times. I have missed this many shots in my lifetime. But he says, if I let all those get to me, I would never be where I'm at now. He said, I think it was something like, I've been tasked with hitting the winning shot 16 times, and I failed blank times. I could get you an exact quote, but he's like, if I thought of how many times I failed, I never would have hit the other ones. I would never be considered where I am now.
See, guys, there are people in our country who are multimillionaires that have filed bankruptcy numerous times, but yet they are multimillionaires now. Why?
Right.
Because something happened that caused the bankruptcy to happen, and they saw that as an obstacle. But once they saw the obstacle, they didn't just go, well, did bankruptcy, I'm done, I'm not going to do anymore. Right.
And guess what? Another quote from Bubsy. Don't always look at obstacles, or don't classify that as an obstacle. Classify it as an opportunity.
Yep. Anything that gets in the way is an opportunity to do something different, to change, whatever. But
right.
if you're going after your dream, if you are chasing the brass ring, as they used to say back in my day, then don't stop chasing.
Yes.
Don't let anything get in your way. If you can't hop over it, push it out of the way. If you can't push it out of the way, dig under it. Whatever you've got to do to get around that obstacle, do it. Don't allow that thing to stop you from becoming and doing what you want and what you believe and what you feel that you were meant to be.
Yes.
Like I said earlier in this podcast, I derailed my dreams more than anybody else. I'd made stupid decisions. Therefore, there were stupid consequences. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm still facing the consequences of some of the decisions I made. Some of the health issues that I have are because of decisions that I made. It just, there's no other way around it. I can't I can't do that. But yet, because of Bubsy, you need to do this, Dad. You need to do this. You're funny. People will laugh. And I do things that are funny, and people do laugh. But I get to talk to people who I can't make it through the day, Beard. I just need to give up. I can't do this anymore. All because of Bubsy's motivation to create something, which ignited my motivation again to help people. And here we are doing a podcast about dreams. You know, I told you all in the beginning, I don't have a lot of expectations. I keep my short-term goals small sometimes, right? But I have some big ones as well. And I think I said it in the first one, Bubsy, and I don't honestly remember if I did. My dream is to change the world.
Don't you start crying on me, okay?
That's my dream, y'all. If I can
Bro.
change my small little world, or maybe if I get the opportunity because of that dream to help you change your world, right? So don't let anything get in the way. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. And by all means, have fun with it.
And if it's yourself telling you can't fulfill it, we're both right here saying yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Guys, you're looking at. I mean, I went back to school at 48. How dumb was that? Right?
He got a degree before I did.
How dumb is that? That I went back to school at 48, and I just got my master's degree.
Yeah.
Right. That was a dream for myself, but it was also my grandmother's dream to see me have a degree. Right. So I did get to fulfill a part of my dream, but hers as well. But what I'm saying is this: don't ever give up on the dream, but do it wisely. Do it wisely.
Yeah.
You know, make sure that you're making the best of what you have. You know, and don't just throw something away because it doesn't fit into the narrative that you've set up for your dream. Because something that you're already doing may help you to fulfill that dream. I mean, it's amazing. And I have no doubt it's amazing what you all are going to do.
Well, I mean, and speaking about that is like very prominent people in history. Okay. They may have fulfilled and done something. It may not have been their dream, but they may have fulfilled and done something amazing that people regard as, noteworthy. But if you also notice a part of their story, it also includes things that they did that may not have led perfectly. Didn't work out. Like even like an example, George Washington and that cherry bush. Or is it cherry tree or whatever?
Cherry tree.
Cherry tree. The thing is, that had probably no part in playing to him being the first president, but it's still noted.
Yep.
It's still part of his story.
Because it shows a part of who he is.
Right.
Even as a young man. So I want to tell you all this. Since we're talking about dreams. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I know what I know. I know what I like.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys want to reach out to us, please do. Leave a comment on the YouTube video. Let us know what your dreams are. And if we can be, if we can be praying for it, if we can be sending positive thoughts, I'm not going to put a terminology on it. I'm going to tell you what I'll do. I'll pray for you. That's what I'm going to do. But if you want other people to see it and just have positive thoughts, then that's what you put. I don't care what you put.
Yeah.
But you can reach out to us and share your dreams. Isn't that what it is? That's what you're supposed to do. Talk about your dreams. Get them out there so they can become a reality.
Yes.
Right? So if you want to do that, you can leave comments on the YouTube channel. You can go to my TikTok, which is the Caffeinated Beard. Right? I have an Instagram, which is the Caffeinated Beard.
Hit us with comments on videos, direct messages.
Yeah, all
Hit us
that.
up. Let us know if we can help be a facilitator. I guess
See, we
if we
don't know
can
what we
stand
can
along
do.
you.
We know one thing we can do, but we can also be a sounding board, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can be a place that you can share your dreams, right? So
We
those are my
will, yeah,
social media things that you can really reach me on. Like I
yeah.
always say, TikTok is so much easier. The Caffeinated Beard. And I hope to be there for a long time. I hope to be there so that anybody who wants to can reach out and I can help. So you know what I always say, guys, because we're coming to the end, and I'm going to let Bubby close and give his social media. We appreciate you hanging in here with us this far.
Yes. Yes.
Now, whether this is your first time or your how many ever time, until the next time, welcome to the family.
And I will say, because like we do social medias, like we were saying earlier, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I'm trying to list Twitch. Hit us with a direct message. Leave a comment on something that you enjoyed. Let us know what you think. Follow us on our dream and our on our journey to achieve our
Please.
dreams. Okay, let us, if we can, like, if you just need to, if the people around you aren't don't see what you see with your dream, let us listen to it, and maybe we can say, yes, you can do it, you can achieve this. Okay, come follow us, we'll try to follow you, and together we'll try to achieve our dreams together.
I like it.
And I will say, as always, this has been the Caffeinated Podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.